to pledge allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic
for which
it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to hand it over to Dean and Rachel and oh no, I'm not. Hold on, because I am running this meeting. I have to pull up. Hold on, guys. The agenda. Sorry.
Roll call. No problem.
Have it here. Thanks, Mike. All right. I'm going to start with the roll call. Mr. Berger.
Here.
Ms. Conway. Here. Mr. Corey. Mr. Cronin.
Here.
Ms. DePretis here. Mr. Ucalito is excused. Ms. Hona is excused. Mr. Kisco.
Here.
Mr. Knight. If he can't get in, he will be excused. Mr. Putnam.
Here.
Mayor Carbone, our representative. Mrs. Ferguson. Here. Ms. Komolzuski. Sorry. Ms. Labby. Here. Mr. Pergola. Ms. Schulte. Ms. Zane, Mr. Wilson.
Here.
All right. Now, I just have to pull up the agenda. Sorry, again, bear with me here. Not a big fan of this Zoom setup, but I guess it's convenient.
You're muted, Dean.
Hold on one second, Jean.
I can ask me.
All right. So, agenda item number 3, discussion of the 5-year facilities and technologies capital plan. So now I will hand it over to Dean and Rachel. If you want to do some presentation and discussion around it, and then we can open it up for questions.
Okay, Rachel, I'll go first.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, and excuse me if the phone rings. We do have a little bit of an emergency over the school, so trying to handle that from here.
Okay.
All right, so we put together this 5-year plan that you take a look at. A lot of this stuff that on here came from the facility study. Some of the stuff came from me directly going through looking at what we're doing with the schools and redistricting and things that were of high need. So as you can see, we broke it out into each individual school, 25, 26. That column right there. If you look at Forbes School, we have certain things on there from ADA compliance to drinking fountains that should be installed. I'm guessing that everybody had an opportunity to take a look at these. So I went through every school to try to figure out what should be this year and what can we maybe wait for next year. There's some stuff on here that's very borderline, whether we can wait or not, including that chiller at Torrenford. That's probably our weakest link right now, is the Torrenford chiller, and hopefully we'll get some money this year to take care of that. So if there's any questions, I'd like to answer any of them, or any thoughts that you guys had on all of this. I know it's a lot to absorb, so I'm hoping you had time to take a look at it and can quiz me on it.
Anybody have any questions for Dean?
Wouldn't be fun if it wouldn't be fun if I didn't have one or two.
Yeah, that's true. Go ahead.
Dean, we talked about it previously. Did you get a chance to talk to the energy folks, the Siemens guys, about possibly rolling that chiller into an energy efficiency program we talked about?
Yeah, so they're looking at, I've spoken to them, and I've also spoken to ABS, who is our mechanical, our BMS at the new high school. And there are BMS at, I believe, Vogel right now. They also have given me a budget number to go by, and also they work with the energy companies also. So that is something that we can definitely look into. Jeff, I haven't gone any further than like put the number down, and worst case scenario, we have to pay for it. We put it in there, but that's something that we can definitely look at, and it's a good possibility. I didn't get a definite yes or no out of both of them, because a little bit of legwork would have to be done to get there. So
Yeah, I figured. We talked about it a couple of times. I wasn't sure what the plan was. These numbers are a number, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if we approve these and move forward with them, this is what we intend to spend the money on, but it can certainly change. Is that an accurate statement?
that is a very accurate statement, and that includes our 72 to 73% back from the state, which is, I'm sure it's still going to be there, but that's always a fluctuating number also. So.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the list like Forbes and Southwest, and obviously we've got some tentative plans for the buildings, but nothing's been finalized yet. So you see the typical height toilets and I'm assuming that would change if it needed to. Some of these things can change based on what the ultimate use of the building ends up being or not being.
Yep.
Thank you, Dean.
Yeah, this is all flexible as the years go on, seeing that it's a 5-year plan. So it's something that I'm sure you'll readdress in facilities and budget year after year, or even month after month, like you do today. And things will change, but it does give us somewhat of a picture to be able to send to the city.
Yep. Yep.
Did you have another question, Jeff?
No, I bundled them both in there.
Oh, okay. Anybody else, questions or comments? Glenn?
Nope.
Okay.
Teamwork.
All right. Dean, you're good then for now with your numbers?
Yes.
And you're ready to
Yeah,
send that over?
unless you have other questions, everything is pretty self-explanatory there to a point. I mean, we can go really into the weeds, but I don't think anybody really wants to. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
good.
it'll get it, and you guys spend a lot of time on this throughout the year too, so there's no doubt it'll continue to be addressed. All right. Rachel, did you want to go next?
Sure.
Did you wait, but Rachel, I'm sorry, before you go, did you both roll in your plans into one number, or Dean, do you have a separate number and Rachel has one?
Separate.
They are separate. Can you go back down? Because I don't want to leave this page again. Go back to my email, just so I could see the final.
Right here, I think.
A year. Oh, okay. All right, perfect. Thank you. Okay, thanks.
Are you ready?
Ready when you are.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time digging into our warranties on our devices this year, when things were going to expire. I've been having a lot of meetings, particularly with Apple, and what they suggest we do when it comes to a refresh rate of their devices. So you'll see for the upcoming year, there's MacBook and iPad refreshments because the warranties that we have are going to be expiring that year. So like to get those devices refreshed so that we can have a new warranty and make sure everything is covered. That way we're not, footing the bill for anything that might break. And then you'll also see in several spots equipment to upgrade buildings to the new phone system. So now that we'll have the system in place at the new high school / middle school, and then we have the redundancy at our current middle school building. It would be a good idea for us to get all of our other buildings up to speed, especially because our current phone system is obsolete. They do not sell it or make parts when we buy phones. A lot of the time it's off eBay, well, according to the company. So yeah, we don't buy them off eBay, but they do. Yeah, any questions? Yes.
Just a couple. The warranty thing, you probably have enough data, and I did not admittedly go back and look at the prior presentations on what our repair expenditures were, but it is $330,000, a third of $1 million in warranties alone on the devices. That would say, based on the cost to replace them, that we are having extensive damage to 1 out of 4 devices over the 4 years. So it's, it's a quarter of the cost of a new machine when you look at it. We had kind of talked about this previously, looking at the data. That's $85,000 a year in damages that, let's say, were not covered by somebody having paid for the insurance. It's just a lot of money that we should probably look at this, or maybe you already have, Rachel. You have all the data. I have no doubt you've taken a cursory look at this. But looking at what our damages costs were last year on the apples, that happens to be the grade level we had, ironically, the least amount of damage. So do you have any numbers to support the warranty for 4 years, or do we want to take a look at it later? I mean, I just wanted to ask the question because we talked about it maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah, I would definitely have to go back and get those numbers for you, but I do want to stress that, you know, if we're looking at numbers from last year, we have to realize this is covering that device for 4 years, right? So multiply that times 4. And it's also covering 2 damages to the device. So if a student was to break a screen twice within those 4 years, it would be completely covered. Whereas if we didn't go with that, you know, it's about $360 just for a screen. And that's a huge amount for us to incur. And if they break it multiple times over the 4 years that they have that device, you know, think about, you know, 360 times 4 now.
Sure, I understand that, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in the same space to some extent here. But it is, when you have 10 devices, the warranty from a third party, like, you know, the Apple warranty, makes, in our opinion, a lot more sense because just the odds of saving money on it are much lower. Your pool of possible damages is tiny. Whereas when you have 1,800 devices, the odds of self-insuring sometimes works out to be better. We don't have to have that conversation now. Certainly we can, I don't have a problem submitting it with the warranty. I just might want to, if we could figure out what the actual damage costs were. I know you have it, and I apologize for not having looked. But we can, if it's not really $85,000 a year in sustained damages that we're not getting back, it might actually be cheaper for us and could get you more equipment sooner, which I know is always difficult, right? Is to find you money to replace the things that need to be replaced. Maybe we need to reallocate it, but it can be a discussion for another day.
Okay. I can look into that as well.
Thanks, Rachel.
I don't know how to raise my hand on this thing. Can I ask a question, Susan?
Yes, of course.
How many total MacBooks do we have?
Probably just under 1,500. There was 1,200 in our first order, which is what you see in that little on the first year, the 1,200 that would be going out of warranty. And then we have purchased a few more. When we first began this whole Apple implementation, we started off with, you know, students and certified staff. That has grown to some other staff members who needed the capabilities of MacBook as well as just replacing devices that were either damaged beyond repair or did not come back to us. But we saw much better numbers on that this year.
So that's like 80% of our MacBooks are going to be replaced in 1 year.
Yeah, because we bought them all at one time. So the warranty is going to be expiring all at once on those 1,200.
So I don't know. I guess this would be more of a computer question that I can't answer. Does it make any more sense to try and stagger this so that we don't have this huge expense every 4 years, or we can plan better per year. We know we're gonna have 25% replacement costs. Spread them out over 4 years, so that everything's always covered under warranty, but it's more of a fixed expense.
Yeah, there are programs that we can work with Apple to reduce these costs. I just wanted to shoot for if we didn't have those programs available to us,
Yeah.
uh,
Okay,
just in case. What the worst case scenario would be if we
Right.
have to replace them all.
right?
thank you.
Can I tag a follow-up on Glenn's question quick?
Sure.
Rachel, the other thing is those are what? Those are M1 MacBook Pros probably?
Yes.
So if they're M1 MacBook Pros, the other thing we can look at is potentially, I mean, it's not just the $240 warranty. The device has Apple support for security, like kind of like our Chromebooks do, far past the 4 years. What do we do? What happens? Are we trading them in with them? And we can certainly extend the life of these from a usability standpoint longer than 4 years if we needed to. Not that we necessarily should, but it's an option. They're still supported, so it's not just the warranty cost. It can also be extending the life of the asset. So
Right.
that's kind of where Glenn was going with it by staggering. You know, if we were to say, hey, let's get you a third of them this time, a third of them next time, and a third of them, that would stagger the capital expense a bit. And yes, it would carry some of these units out of warranty, but it might also be a good way to test, you know, what our exposure rate is going out that far.
Right. The return on investment for these devices is that, you know, it's not gonna get, it's gonna get lower after 4 years. Because it won't be covered anymore, and if anything is to happen to it, then we can't replace it. So if we were to join, say, a buyback program, where they give us a percentage back for each device based on how well it was taken care of, you know, if we do that at the end of our 4 years of warranty coverage, then we can get the most back for our devices. So it's kind of part of that plan that I was talking about. Yes, they can absolutely be used past 4 years. It's just that if we want to sort of like trade them in and see a return on it, then that's the best point to do that, so that we can get a return on our investment and then put them into more devices or against the cost of more devices.
Yeah, so let's leave it the way it is. And when we get to that point, if we get the money from the city to do any of this, we can figure all that out then. Sounds like you got a good handle on it. So we'll sort out the warranty stuff when the time comes.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Can I make a point for a minute? No.
Yes,
We need to take the trip thong out of equipment for 2025-26, or the city will catch it and will look bad.
Isn't it
Oh.
for you?
Noted.
All set? Okay.
Oh.
in equipment. It's an extra U. Yep. Perfect.
Any other questions?
I don't know, where did Sue go?
She's muted.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was muted. I was talking. Any other questions? No? All right, so I think at this point, Michael, I don't know if do we need to vote on this to move it to the city for you to send it by the 31st?
Make a motion that you inform the superintendent to send the proposed 5-year capital and technology plan to the city as discussed this evening, and I will write a letter along with Donna, and we will present that and get that over to the city.
Excellent. Okay, so do I hear a motion to authorize the superintendent to prepare a letter and send the proposed capital 5-year plan that we just reviewed and discussed to the city by December 31st?
So moved.
second,
Who was second?
Glenn.
All right. Any discussion?
Do we need to add the total amount in that motion?
Because it's as presented, the totals are there, Jeff.
Okay.
I think that's
Sounds
appropriate.
good.
Yeah, that's appropriate. That'll, okay. No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Any opposed? No opposed? All right, motion moves forward. You can go ahead and get that ready. Michael, whenever, I'm assuming this week, next, you'll have it done.
Donna and I will work on it.
Okay, and no other questions, comments? Okay, a motion to adjourn,
so moved.
second,
Second.
Glenn and John,
Merry Christmas, everyone.
okay.
Merry-
So this is our last meeting. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Have a wonderful holiday.
Jill.
Hey, thanks, bye.
Even you, Ebenezer Kisco, somebody has to at least acknowledge it.
I did earlier.
It
That
was
took
mentioned.
me a
it was
minute.
mentioned.
That was good, John. But you still have on your red shirt. That's good. You have
It's
a little bit of
Christmas.
spirit.
It's Christmas. It's Christmas. Anyway, bye, everybody.
Bye. Have a good
Bye-bye.
evening, everyone.